Hello again in this instalment of Spiritual Wisdom. I'm grateful to all of you who follow me here and to this little community here on YouTube. And if you've been here before, welcome back. I hope you're doing well. And if you're new here, welcome. I hope you're doing well. My name is Nicholas, and on my channel I talk about witchcraft, Wicca, paganism, self-love, crystals and magical properties, and all matter of philosophical and spiritual topics. So if you're interested in those types of things, you know what to do. Please subscribe, join this amazing community, click the bell icon so you'll be notified each time I post a video. And this is a safe place if you're practicing witch, Wiccan, pagan, or whatever spiritual path you may be on, because there's no right or wrong spiritual path, just the path which is right for you, the individual. Now this is going to be one of my philosophy videos, so where I'm going to be sitting chatting with you. So get comfortable, drink your favourite beverage. I'm going to be having some lavender and oregano tea. Okay, so soul contracts. So just as I've spoke about like what's meant for you won't get by you, meaning everything that happens in your life, it happens and it's meant to happen, it happens for a reason. So when it comes to soul contracts, as I believe we live many lives of reincarnation, a soul contract is basically something you agreed to, something your soul agreed to before your soul reincarnated. You agreed to certain things. Now I believe all of us on this earth, we're all spiritual beings having a human experience, and we live many lives through reincarnation. And through reincarnation, we learn many lessons through our life experience. And these lessons help our soul grow and evolve as well. And then we get to a stage where we could have, where our soul ascends. We've learned so much, we've reached a really high state where we know so much, we've got a great understanding, so our soul ascends. Sometimes our soul, so when it ascends, that space that our soul has done everything it had to do, it's learned everything, so it ascends, and then that breaks the cycle of reincarnation. Some souls, they choose to live on, and there are many words beyond this one. So some souls they choose not to reincarnate, they choose to live on in another world or dimension. And some souls choose to they choose to be someone's spirit guide, or they become someone's spirit guide by default. But by and large, a lot of souls that come into the world, a lot of souls that are being born right now are old souls. I'm an old soul, and I know a lot of people here on the earth. You could be a young person, but rather you're young. A lot of souls that are being born are old souls, meaning you've many souls that are here have been here. Some of us remember it, and part of spiritual awakening is if maybe in some part of your spiritual awakening you may remember past lives you've had and experiences. But a soul contract is basically things you agree to. Things you agree to before you incarnate. So you agree with your mother, who your mother and father are going to be, what's your family dynamic going to be. You make certain agreements with your spirit guides and your creator, or the creators or creator, whoever source is. So when you pass on the spirit world, there'll be a time of rest where you're with your loved ones, a time of rest where you're with your loved ones. There'll also be a period of reflection where you're reflecting your life. Part of your soul, from my perspective, always lives on in the spirit world, but part of it, which is we refer to as your higher self, and we can connect with our higher self, but that part of the soul to me goes to another part of the spirit world and chooses to be reborn again. So our soul reincarnates, but before it does, we reflect on our life, and then we make choices. We agree we choose who our mother and father are going to be. We choose our family dynamic. We choose what situations we're going to find ourselves in this lifetime. We also choose if we're going to live a long or short life. We choose all of this, and we agree to all of it before we come to earth, because we're spiritual beings having a human experience. So before we become human and enter this world again, because we've entered it many times, so before we enter it, we make a contract. And every one of us on this earth, we've agreed to certain things. We've all signed a soul contract. Now, a soul contract is not a physical contract, it's energetic. One place you can visit, but it's not a physical place, it's a spiritual place, is the Akashic Records. So the Akashic Records, I've been there twice, but through astral travel I've been there, and you can travel to the Akashic Records, which is a library. Everyone will see it different, and in this library there'll be a shelf or books, certain books, and everyone will see it different, but there'll be certain books. Your guides can come into the library with you, or they may be there, and they'll guide you to books, and the books show, in these books there'll be lives, you'll get to see other lives you've had, things you agreed to in the library, but also in the Akashic Record you'll also get to see like who you are, and there'll be a page in one of the books telling you about yourself in this life and who you are as well. Now I've been to the Akashic Records twice. One time it was in my temple, when I had a temple. Another time was when I was meditating under a tree, and it was near a good friend of mine as well. And there are many beliefs about the Akashic Records. I have my own beliefs about it, but it is a world beyond this world, and you can visit it, because when we make a soul contract, and we've all made one, we forget about it when we choose to forget about it. Because if you knew, right, this woman who was horrible to me, but they were your mother, why did you choose that person to be your mother? You know, if you knew why, then you wouldn't learn the lesson. What does an experience like that have? And of course, Spirit doesn't wish for bad or horrible things to happen to us, but Spirit knows what difficult or hard times can be the making of us, but they can make us stronger. And difficult times are when your life's a mess. It teaches you strength and resilience. That's what it does. So some souls would have agreed they wanted to be a very strong person. So the Creator said, okay, an individual's spirit guides would say, okay, well, in order for you to be this strong person, these are certain circumstances you have to go through, and then you agreed to go through those circumstances to be a strong spirit on this earth. Or if you're a spiritual healer, or you want to heal people, you may have come into this world and you said, I want to be a healer, and there's many ways to heal the body. So you've agreed your calling in life, your purpose in this life, you've agreed to it. Well, you're here to be a healer. You've agreed to that before you came here. So to me, we've all got a calling in life, we've all got a purpose, but we've already agreed to that calling before we came here. We've agreed what our calling is. So working with your spirit guides, doing meditational practices, or travelling to other realms can help you find out what your calling is. And also can help you find out what things have you agreed to. But everything you've agreed to, so therefore everything that happens in your life, good, bad, horrible, it's meant to happen to teach you lessons, to help your soul grow and evolve, you know. And that's why a saying what my mum used to say to me a lot, and I spoke about it yesterday, when my mum would always say, what's meant for you won't go by you. And me being a teenager, I really struggled to wrap my mind around that. But since walking my spiritual path, meditating with different gods and goddesses, and when I do that, I'm speaking to them by using my gifts, my psychic gifts and abilities. And, working with Goddess Hecate, she's taught me that. She's taught me what's meant for you won't go by you. Everything you go through, you're meant to go through it. And the reason you go through good, bad and horrible things is to teach you valuable lessons. Even Archangel Michael I work with a lot as well, and I still work with him, and their energies are still around me. And I've got other guides I work with. Even he told me that and explained what it meant. So my mum just said it vaguely, it was meant for you won't go by you, but my mum never explained in depth about it, but my spirit guides explained it. So again, sometimes when you walk in a spiritual path, I'm going to say that as well, and I know a lot of you here are seekers of the truth, seekers of knowledge, and sometimes you get short answers, but then no one explains it. People might say, okay, what's meant for you won't go by you. I've spoken about this, but nobody goes in depth. They don't explain what that means. They just leave it there. But what it essentially means is whatever happens to you, good, bad, and horrible, it happens for a reason, and the reason is to learn lessons. It's the same with the saying, everything happens for a reason. And then we as human beings can think, okay, everything happens for a reason, but sometimes we can get bogged down about what the reason is. We can get bogged down about it. But at the end of the day, everything we go through, it happens for a reason, to teach us lessons, to help us grow and evolve as well. And, it's the same, everything that happens to us. There are things, of course, that will happen to you in your life that are horrible, but sometimes there's things in your life that will happen to you, because I think when we talk about what's meant for you won't get by you, that does make a lot of sense. But sometimes in life, there are horrible things in your life that may happen to you what are not in your control. I mean, if someone wanted to hurt you or do unspeakable acts, or legal acts that are legal, acts that could end an individual into jail for doing these acts, the universe respects freedom of will and doesn't really interfere with freedom of will. So, for example, the universe does protect, and I've heard stories where people, the universe gives you signs, it gives you, your spirit guides give you advice to help you, but sometimes people are in very difficult situations and they're very lucky to be alive, or some people that are very spiritual and the spirit guides were there with them for a difficult time and they helped them. But there are things in your life that do happen to you but you've got no control over. Like if you've been bullied, for example, or someone tried to unalive you, or someone tried to do inappropriate or sexual acts to you without your consent, people might say, did I agree to this? And I wouldn't say necessarily, no, you didn't agree to something like that to happen to you. But things will happen sometimes in life that are not part of your soul contract. There are things, good, bad, and horrible things that will happen to you that are part of your soul contract. But I do think there's also things in your life that do happen, but they happen as well because the universe doesn't interfere with freedom of will. Like if somebody wanted to hurt you, bully you, they've got the freedom to do that. They'll get that energy back they're putting out and they'll get their karma. But the universe doesn't interfere with freedom of will. It respects freedom of will. And freedom of will is a gift. So some individuals, they want to do horrible things to you. And I would say there's certain, the horrible things like criminal acts. I would say you did not agree to them happening to you. Just these things happen because people have freedom of will as well. And, with that, people can do whatever they like. They've got the freedom to do it. But again, people sometimes think if they've got freedom, what it means doing whatever you want and there's no consequences. But that's not freedom. Freedom is, understanding your gifts, your abilities, but having awareness. So again, there's a lot of things in this life, good, bad, and horrible experiences that happen to you, and they're meant to happen to you, and you agreed to them. But I also want to say there's always room, because it's not as black and white as that. There's things that you agreed to that are part of your soul contract. But I also think there's some things in this life where you'll experience what are no fault of your own and you didn't agree to them. So there's some things you'll experience what are part of your soul contract, and there's things that you will experience that are not part of that. There's things that are going to happen to you in life what you wish never happened to you. And because it is YouTube, I hope you can read in between the lines, because the V word, things like rape or, sexual assault, that's a horrible thing for anyone to go through, to be sexually assaulted. That's a horrible thing, but that's someone, again, if that's something that happened to you, you didn't agree to that, and there's no how, you didn't agree to that, that happened to you. It's just someone's got freedom of will, and they've got in a position of power, and they're abusing that power, or they feel they've got no power, so they do that unspeakable act. Same with bullying or unalive. The powerless, those who don't really realise their power and do unspeakable things or legal things, they feel powerless. So doing these criminal acts does give these individuals a sense of power. But at the end of the day, a soul contract is basically before your soul reincarnated into this world, into this life, you chose what your calling was going to be, and you chose how you were going to find that calling. You chose what friends you would meet, who your family would be. You chose some circumstances you would find yourself in, because but there's lots of things you agreed to before you entered this life, and everything you agreed to it for a reason, and that reason was to learn lessons, as well. And as always, I hope this brings some guidance, some help as well. Because all our lives are different. Because all of us, though we might meet halfway, we're all in a different journey in this life. We're all spiritual beings having a human experience. But different paths speak to us. For some of you watching me, you may be a practicing witch like me, and being a witch is the right spiritual path for you. For some of you, you're pagan spiritual path, that's right for you, that path feeds your soul. Some of you, you're Wiccan, and following the Wiccan religion or path may make sense to you. Some of you may be Christian, because I've got nothing really against Christianity. There's just certain, there's blood on both sides, and I'll talk about that. But there are things what certain Christians do, or certain beliefs, but don't vibe with me. But at the end of the day, different strokes for different folks, and we've all decided, there's a path that feeds your soul and gives you the answers you're craving, and doing certain spiritual practices that feel right also fill your soul up as well. So, as always, that is soul contracts. It's things you've agreed to and experiences you agreed would happen to you in order to learn lessons, and that's why whatever happens to you is meant to happen to teach you lessons and to help your soul grow and evolve as well. As always, I hope this makes sense. I hope it brings some guidance, some comfort. And if you like this video, please hit like. As always, giving you food for thought. Till next time, stay safe, stay well, look after yourself. May part, meet again. Blessed be.